Hi, I'm Giles, the Technical Director of Havilah Resources. And today I'd like to tell you about some exciting uranium results we've been getting from our Johnson Dam prospect, which is located about 40 kilometres north of the main Adelaide to Broken Hill Barrier Highway. It's located about 20 kilometres southwest of the Honeymoon uranium deposit, operated by Boss Energy, and about 14 kilometres south-southwest of our large Kalkaroo copper deposit. Johnson Dam is a very promising outcropping multi-metal discovery. It was first drilled by Havilah in late 2022, and we found uranium plus associated copper, cobalt and rare earths. Now this occurred beneath a Gossan outcrop, which is this dark reddish coloured ironstone here. And a Gossan is basically a distinctive iron-rich caprock that forms from the complete oxidation of underlying sulfide minerals, in this case being pyrite. Now our 2022 drilling program produced some very encouraging hard rock uranium intersections, including 6 metres of 1613 ppm U3O8, plus associated cobalt and copper. The mineralisation occurred in a well-defined horizon, up to 30 to 40 metres thick, which was dipping about 45 degrees to the east. Parts of it contain 30% up to 30% pyrite, which explains the Gossan outcrop at the surface. And as you can see on these sections, some quite encouraging uranium results. We took some of the samples from these holes and did leaching tests, bench leach tests at the Bureau Veritas lab in Adelaide, and found that the uranium, more than 90% of the uranium leached out in a very short time, as did quite a lot of the copper. Fast forward to earlier this year, we completed a 9-hole second round drilling program, and that was mainly designed to test the near-surface strike extensions of the hard rock uranium mineralisation that we'd intersected in 2022, plus also the associated copper-cobalt bearing pyritic lode zone. We achieved an outstanding result in this hole 706 here of 4 metres of 3,643 ppm U3O8, and this confirmed the high-grade uranium that we'd intersected in earlier holes. Now we found the geology here was a little trickier than we thought, so not all holes actually hit the horizon as we'd hoped. Some actually hit granite, others were a bit off the horizon, but we did succeed, apart from this high-grade hole, in extending the mineralisation another 400 metres south down to this hole here, to 711, which intersected quite significant uranium, and also over 10 metres of 0.33% copper, plus 411 ppm cobalt. And similarly up the northern end, this hole here, 713, was very interesting because it intersected quite high-grade neodymium, magnet rare earth, from surface down to 40-odd metres. So all in all, it was a very successful follow-up drilling campaign earlier this year. Now, based on all the drilling results, both from before and more recently, we're able to construct a uranium mineralised envelope. Now the boundary of that envelope is cut off at 120 ppm U3O8, so everything inside this purple zone here contains more than 120 ppm U3O8. And you can see that on each of these drill section lines here, there are some quite high-grade uranium results as shown by the table here. And it's important to realise that these are actually in hard rock, they're not in sands. So this is a direct analysis of the uranium that's in the rock, making it much easier to define or be more certain about a resource. And this is the outcropping Gossan at the surface, which I mentioned. I'll just draw your attention here to AB, a cross-section. We'll look, the next slide, we'll look at a cross-section through these drill holes here. And here it is. This is west-east, dipping about 45 degrees to the east, as in the previous section I showed you. And you can see that 4 holes on this drill section all intersected uranium mineralisation, shown by the colour here. And this was a very high grade hole here, 7 metres of 2,169 ppm U308, and also supported by uranium in the hole below it and above. So our uranium envelope, as I showed you previously, that purple zone, which contains greater than 120 ppm U308, is shown here. It sits immediately above a strongly pyritic horizon, which above the zone base of complete oxidation, which is green line, becomes completely oxidized and forms that red ironstone that I showed you earlier in the picture. And it is associated with low-grade copper and cobalt. You can see 9 metres, 0.19% copper and 241 ppm cobalt in that massive pyrite zone. Now, the uranium mineralisation is not completely well behaved. For example, down in this hole here, deeper down, we've got quite significant uranium and a little bit over here and here. So there's still quite a lot of things to learn, but we think the key control on the uranium mineralisation here is the contact between this highly pyritic zone and the carbonaceous shales which overlie it. And that's where the mineralisation occurs. As I mentioned, this is the base of oxidation, this green line here, and it just so happens that this bonanza hit we've got here of uranium occurs where that contact is roughly coincident with the base of oxidation. So that might explain why this is so high grade, but nevertheless, the uranium is still quite well distributed through here, so it's definitely not a flash in the pan. And we think there's an excellent opportunity to identify quite a reasonable grade hard rock open pit uranium deposit here. And continuing on that theme of the discovery potential, we suspect that the uranium mineralisation here may be coming from a nearby granite. So this is the Johnson Dam prospect. This is where I've been showing you the drill sections, just down in this area here. But most of this area out to the west, lying in here, on this area magnetic image, is all granite. And it's where this granite comes very close to the carbonaceous peelite, which is a good reducing material, that we see the uranium mineralisation. So we think that may be an important factor, and based on our interpretation of the geology and previous drilling, we know this granite contact up against the carbonaceous peelite extends for at least over 15 kilometres, shown by this black line. And that means that there's a lot of potential to find more uranium along this granite carbonaceous peelite contact zone. Just going back to the immediate Johnson Dam area, we've already established from our drilling over 600 metres of continuous strike of the uranium mineralisation. But along this feature here, which is a strong magnetic anomaly, possibly a fault zone, granite contact, there's over 3 kilometres of completely untested strike. So in summary, it's pretty clear from our work so far that we've found some exceptionally high-grade uranium, and there's very good potential to find a substantial hard rock uranium deposit at Johnson Dam. And any exploitation of a uranium discovery here is greatly aided by the fact of the good logistics. We're not far from the main highway. There's a good road runs up through here, close to a future development here at Kalkaroo, not far from Honeymoon. There's a mixture of valuable metals, not just uranium, but also significant rare earths, plus low-grade copper and cobalt. And the third very important factor is that the deposit outcrops. So minimal overburden, which greatly reduces the capex of a startup mining operation. So that's the latest from the Johnson Dam prospect, and if you require any more information, please don't hesitate to contact me or check our website. So until the next update, stay well.